Warning! The root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Allyn Root.
All right, Allyn Root from Las Vegas, and as I mentioned in hour number one, we had just gotten on the air and heard some horrible news that Kyle Busch is dead. 41 years old, one of the greatest NASCAR drivers ever, a legend in car racing from Las Vegas, by the way. I don't mean to be a homer, but, he's one of the biggest stars ever from Las Vegas, born and raised here. His family still lives here, hospitalized with a severe illness yesterday, dropped out of the race this weekend, and all of a sudden we find out in the last hour he has died. 41 years old with an 11-year-old and 4-year-old sons. Very sad, very tragic, and just brings tears to my eyes, man. Just breaks your heart. 41 years old, gone. Scary. Health is everything, man. Health is wealth. All right, we got a late-breaking news guest with us. He let us know something as big is going on, and so we decided to have him come on in the first segment of hour number one, unplanned, last-second edition. Good friend of the show, Jerome Corsi, constantly working with the Trump White House for election integrity, and we've got him. Jerome, how are you? Hello.
I'm great, Wayne. It's great to be back with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So tell us what this big news is. My understanding is there's some breaking news you've got for us.
Well, I want to put in context that today the announcements of the fraud in Minneapolis is only the beginning of a campaign showing the corruption at the heart of the Democratic Party. And President Trump is on a solid track to do an executive order, an emergency order, closer to the election, which will utilize the powers of the commander-in-chief under Article 2, saying that the president has the authority to determine how the election is going to be run, that there's going to be non-citizen, only citizens can vote, voter ID, proof of citizenship, and most likely paper ballots.
Paper ballots. Love it.
And hand count. And so President Trump is in full control. There will be a rollout. I mean, you're going to start seeing more and more of the actual corruption going behind the elections. You're going to see indictments coming out of several of the states. You're going to see evidence being produced of foreign interference, including in Venezuela. And remember, we have Maduro in custody. Mm-hmm. And both General Flynn and I have been solidly recommending that Peter Titkin be appointed Attorney General. We think Peter Titkin really knows where the bodies are.
So let me jump in. Let me jump in and play devil's advocate, because I'm a Peter Titkin fan, and he's been on my show many times. But I told him right to his face what I'm about to tell you, Jerome. You can't get him approved by the Senate. They'll never approve him. They'll never approve anyone good. This is how our country is rigged. I'm on Peter's side. I'd love him to be Attorney General. But I'm saying to you, this is how the country's rigged. You've got rhino Republican senators like Murkowski and Tom Tillis and the ones that Trump just got rid of, Cassidy, and all these senators will vote against anyone who had anything to do with protecting and defending January 6ers, and Peter Titkin is one of those guys. They'll never allow the right kind of guy to be Attorney General. So the guy they will allow is someone who hates January 6ers and hates you and me. And then you'll wind up with that kind of guy, and that's how Trump wound up with a Sessions and a Barr and a Bondi. They're all part of the deep state establishment. How do you overcome that?
Well, that's the whole point. If Peter Titkin is nominated and the deep state, including Thune, oppose him, Donald Trump is going to use that as further evidence that the only solution is a national security emergency declaration. So in fact, by opposing what President Trump wants to do to clean the situation up, the Democrats and the rhino Republicans are only going to fall into the trap of themselves being exposed, where the president can use a national security declaration as a last resort to get fair elections. President Trump is not going to allow the 2026 midterms to be stolen.
And you know, Jerome, that's what I've been arguing for and screaming for from the highest mountains on this podcast, on my national TV show. I'm about to announce a second national TV show that'll be starting in early June on Real America's Voice TV network called America Speaks. I haven't even announced the date and the time of the first show yet, but by next week I'll have the date and the time. I'm on every single night starting in June, in addition to the weekend show. And on all these platforms and all these soapboxes, I've been screaming for a national security emergency declaration by the president, because John Goodman, who's my election expert, has been telling me that's the way to go. And I assume he knows exactly what he's talking about. Let's see if you agree. He says he's done the research, and it can't be sued. You can't take him to court. You can only overturn a national security emergency by the president with 2/3 vote of both houses of Congress. The House and the Senate both have to have 2/3 to beat it, and we know they can't get 2/3, so it will absolutely be unavoidable. It will be in place for the midterms. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yes, and I've been working also with John Goodman, and I agree with John Goodman. And John's right.
He's a good man. He's got a good name. Goodman belongs. Good name.
And the message I want to give today, that President Trump is firmly in control of the dialogue, just as he was firmly in control of the primaries we just saw. And the John Thunes and the Mitch McConnells are no longer representative of the MAGA movement, never were, but they're now being exposed for what they've been, and that is compromised rhino Republicans who are not for the United States and would just as soon be the uniparty. President Trump isn't going to put up with it. So the nomination of Peter Titkin to be Attorney General may have been designed to fail in order to expose the corruption at the heart of the system that will demand an executive order on an emergency basis in order to make sure that, and even if it includes putting in the National Guard, to make sure the states conduct fair elections. And that's shaping up, and the process of disclosures.
Great news. Great news. I mean, you're bringing us great news. Fabulous news. And the big thing is, Jerome, that President Trump not fall into the trap that everything is based on the Save America Act, which was great, but it's never going to pass, and they don't have the votes. They're not willing to kill the filibuster. And even if they did pass it, that would instantly be challenged in court with a lawsuit by the Democrats, Mark Elias and all of them. That would instantly be challenged, and you'd never get to the Supreme Court by Election Day. There's not enough time now. They should have done that a year ago. So the Save America Act will not save us. He's got to do a national security emergency declaration. Correct?
Yes, and President Trump knows that they won't pass President Trump has to support the SAVE Act, knowing that the Democrats and Thune and the rest of the Republicans will oppose it, because that again positions the necessity of a national security emergency. They're all falling into President Trump's dialogue. President Trump knows the SAVE Act isn't the end solution. But by the Democrats and Republicans rejecting and refusing to pass the SAVE Act, he's built the case for the inevitability and the necessity of a national security emergency to protect the election.
All right, that's great news. And do you believe he will nominate Peter Titkin to be the Attorney General? You believe that is going to be the final choice? I mean, I love the guy. I just don't think he could ever pass the Senate. That's all.
It's under serious consideration.
Good. He's a good choice.
Even if it's a nomination that's doomed to fail.
Right.
The point that it fails when Peter is qualified buttresses the case for a national security emergency as the only inevitable solution to getting a fair election that the Democrats don't steal.
I love it because what was amazing to me is there's so much news out there, right, all the time. We're overwhelmed by everything, Iran and everything going on in the world, Israel, Iran, that people don't even notice things. I notice little things. I noticed that Tom Tillis, who's on his way out, that rat fink rhino, useless piece of rhino lard crap. Tom Tillis actually said out loud he will never allow a nomination for Attorney General to pass through if they had anything to do with January 6th. And nobody noticed that. I saw that he said that, and I said, there's the deep state at work right there. That's their ace in the hole, is you can't get affirmed if you had anything to do with protecting, defending January 6th. And that's what they need, because they know the whole thing was a giant setup, and the whole thing was a lie and fraud, and all those people were sent to prison for no reason, and it was just a tragic clusterfuck, as they say, and it was all intentional. Nancy Pelosi, the mayor of D.C., all the Democrats got together, and they planned this thing. It was a setup from day one. And Peter Tickton was defending those January 6ers, which I love and I appreciate him for. But I said, gosh, Tom Tillis will never let him be Attorney General. So that makes sense to me now, how it's all being put together. The puzzle. Thank you for explaining the puzzle.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And Donald Trump is in control of the narrative.
I love it. I love it. Jerome Kersey with some great news. How do people find you, Jerome? Give me your information.
Best go to gods5stones.com, which is my 501c3, where all the voter integrity information is posted.
Gods5stones.com?
Yes.
.com? .com. Gods5stones.com. Hey, you're doing God's work. We appreciate you, Jerome. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you,
and
Wayne.
God bless John Goodman, who's such a great voting security expert, who's given you and me so much good advice. Thank you, John Goodman. And John arranged for Jerome to come on the show today. You guys are all fantastic. Thank you for breaking the news on War Zone Live with Wayne Allyn Root. God bless you, Jerome.
God bless you, Wayne.
We'll be right back. My guest is Brett Favre, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback, Super Bowl champion, three-time NFL MVP, NFL record holder for consecutive games started, 321 games in a row in a sport that's the roughest sport in the world, including the playoffs. Brett Favre, an honor to have you as a guest on the show. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations on an amazing career. I don't get blown away by many people. You are one of my legends, man.
Oh, well, thank you, Wayne. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
It's great to have you. You've been very open about having Parkinson's disease. Tell us about your experience and how it's going for you.
Well, I was diagnosed roughly 3.5 years ago. As you can imagine, it was a shocker. I had very minor symptoms, and I'll be honest with you, it all came about. One of my dear friends is also a back and neck specialist here in Hattiesburg. And we were on a hunting trip. And I had very, very minor symptoms. Again, nothing to even, I would say, worry about. He had me on a medication for some nerve pain in my back. And I thought it was affecting my handwriting and my dexterity in my right hand. So while we were on that trip, I told him about it. And I said, maybe I should get off the medication. He said, that's not a side effect. He said, that has nothing to do with that. And that kind of made my antenna go up that maybe something else is wrong. But again, I wasn't thinking Parkinson's, wasn't thinking any neuro issues whatsoever. And so he said, I tell you what, when we get back home, just to make you feel comfortable, we can get an MRI on you, scan your brain. And he said, do you know one of the local doctors here in town, which I didn't. He said, well, he's a good friend of mine. Wendell Helveston is his name. And he said, I'll set you up an appointment. So I go see my buddy first, get an MRI, bring that over to Wendell Helveston's office. He shakes my hand, says, hey, nice to meet you. And he says, now walk down the hallway. I walked down the hallway and turned around and walked back. And when I got right back in front of him, he said, you got Parkinson's, my man. And I said, my exact words were, you got to be shitting me. I said, you can tell just because I walked down the hallway. He said, look, I see it all the time. You shuffle, your right arm doesn't want to swing. And that's a calling card for Parkinson's, usually something related to the gait, arm swing, shuffling, and mine's right-sided. So as you can imagine, I thought the world was coming to an end. Not that it's there's a lot worse out there. So I'm extremely blessed and thankful for what I do have. But it was a wake-up call for me. And since I've tried several different alternative treatments, really I've seen 5 different specialists, Wayne, and all 5 said the same thing. If there's no history in your family, which there isn't, if we were betting men and women, we would say that football is directly related to, which it is.
Right.
I had probably 1,000 concussions. Would I do it the same way if I had to do over again? I don't know, probably so. But with my radar up when concussions occur, because what we didn't think were concussions, now we know are concussions. You get your bell rung, but you're still able to play. You got a little wooziness, or you're seeing stars, or you got a ringing in your ears, but you're still able to play. We all know about the boxer that gets KO'd and can't, every time he tries to stand up, he's got noodle legs. But those are the major ones. Those only happen so often. The minor ones are what does the toll, and that's the ones where you hit your head on the turf, you got a ringing in your ears, you're seeing fireworks, and there's no telling how many of those I've had.
Yeah, well, Zecha Genesis Medicine, thank God, just in the nick of time, title sponsor of this show, and they've had incredible success treating type 2 diabetes and Parkinson's disease and heart disease, by the way. And I know they recently treated you. Tell us about the treatment and how's it going?
Well, I've done 2 treatments and we've scheduled 3. So I got another one coming up in roughly a month, which we can do at home. The first treatment was done at their clinic in Vegas. Very nice people.
Very nice.
Dan is an interesting guy. He's very confident, when you go see a doctor or someone related to your health, you want someone who's confident and gives you the straight facts. And the success that they've had with type 2 diabetes is nothing short of remarkable. Now, Parkinson's, I'm one of the first to be treated with Parkinson's, and I use less medication, which, as you probably know, the main medication, if you have Parkinson's, is carbidopa levodopa, or the generic name is Sinemet. I use less of that medication. I was using 2 every 4 hours. Now I use 2 when I first wake up in the morning, because that's when the longest span without taking my medication. And then I take really 1, maybe a half every 4 hours. So and he said the best is yet to come, because after the 3rd treatment is when you see the most results. So I'm very excited about it.
How does Zecha's medicine help the blood flow to the brain? Do you know how that works?
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'll try to remember best I can what Dan said. Concussions or head trauma seriously depletes blood vessels in the brain. And this medication basically regrows the blood vessels and gets blood to the areas of the brain that is not getting it. So it's really exciting stuff.
And most people don't realize it, but the treatment you're getting from Zecha Genesis Medicine, FGF1, is only available to you because of President Trump's freedom to try.
Correct, which is crazy. But I'm very thankful for President Trump sticking his neck out there and getting this medication. And I know of several other people with different cases where he's helped them out. So kudos to President Trump for doing that. But it's really a shame that there's a lot of people out there with cancers or various diseases or you name it, that can't get the medication and it's available. Maybe they have to fly out of the country. Maybe it's too expensive, but it's really a shame. But yeah, President Trump, the right to try, and I'm on my 2nd treatment, getting ready to do my 3rd. So I'm very excited about it. It gives everyone with Parkinson's and type 2 diabetes and heart issues a lot of hope.
It does. And, one of my friends is Natalie Harp. She's President Trump's right-hand woman, beautiful blonde gal. She sits next to Trump wherever he goes. And she had bad cancer. She was on her last step. She was on death's door. Trump passed that right to try law, and she got an experimental drug, and it completely cured her cancer. She looks fantastic, and she's by Trump's side for like 8 years now. So it's really quite amazing and miraculous. Trump's done some great things, and hopefully this new drug will actually cure your disease because of President Trump's efforts. They're also working on a treatment, Genesis is, to reverse type 2 diabetes. If Zicha Genesis reverses type 2 diabetes for millions of Americans, wouldn't that be a game changer?
Well, there's over 40 million patients in the United States, as I understand, with type 2 diabetes. 40 million people. So if you can reverse it and cure it, do I need to say any more? Man, what an amazing... anyone that hears this with type 2 diabetes or a family member, it's got to be something that gets you very excited.
And I've been so proud and honored to have them as the sponsor of my show. And now they bring me Brett Favre on my show, one of my heroes. So thank you, Brett, for coming on. Listen, before you go, I got to mention this. You've been an outspoken supporter of President Trump. You spoke at his rally in Green Bay during the 2024 campaign, which probably put him over the top in Wisconsin. You may have won the state for President Trump. You've gotten to know him personally. Tell us what you like about him and why you support him.
Well, I wish everyone could get to know him personally. I played golf with him. I actually knew President Trump and met him long before he was a president. When I signed with the Jets, I was looking for a place to live, and he showed me around, me and my wife and my youngest daughter. He showed us around Bedminster, and we wanted to stay there, but it was a little far out from the practice facility.
Yes.
And I mean, to take the time to show us around, he didn't have to do that. But that's the side of him that most people never get to see. But one of the things that I love about President Trump, he's not a politician. He's a straight shooter. He's a businessman. He runs this country like a business. A lot of politicians are caught up in the wrong stuff. And he's not going to stand for that. And I like that he puts his foot down. Now, he tells you like it is, and that's kind of hard for some people to swallow. But I'd rather that than sugarcoat it.
He's a great man and a great leader, and thank God we got him. And I thank God every day that I'm tickled pink. I'm a son of a butcher, an SOB. Brad, a son of a butcher. My dad wore a white apron with bloodstains on it. And not only do I have TV shows, but President Donald Trump has been a guest on my show 16 times. I think that's probably an all-time record in the media. He's a friend of mine, and he comes on here a lot, and I just thank God for it. Hey, Brett, It's been a great honor to have you on the show. God bless you. And I hope to hear a complete and total recovery and symptom-free, and we'll bring you back on the show to talk about it.
Thank you, Wayne, for having me. I look forward to coming back on the show.
All right. Thank you. A legend, a true legend. To learn more about Zicha Genesis Medicine, go to cure-war.com. Cure-war.com. We'll be right back. All right, Wayne Allyn Root, the root is on fire. And by the way, by the time we get back on from the holiday, right, back on the holiday from Memorial Day weekend, wonderful day to celebrate all the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful men and women who have sacrificed their lives for our country. Monday's the official day, Memorial Day. We'll be back on Tuesday. And when we get back, I'll have news about my new book. It might be ready to be released on Tuesday, but certainly early next week it should be out. We were just on the phone today with Amazon straightening out some problems, but my new book should be out early next week. Hopefully we get back on Tuesday. We also want to report that Turning Point contacted me in the break to let me know that guy, that demon from the Satanic Temple, that I've been talking about so much for the last 48 hours. He really has nothing to do with Las Vegas. He's not a Las Vegan. He was flown in just to cause trouble and bring national attention to the battle between Christians and demons and to try and embarrass evangelical Christians. This was all a setup from day one. It never had anything to do with Vegas. This guy isn't from Vegas, and this guy is a troublemaker flown in just to get national attention. Of course, if he had done it in Detroit, nobody would have cared. No one gives a damn about Detroit or Cleveland. They care about Las Vegas. Las Vegas, the name Las Vegas is controversial. The name Las Vegas is attention-getting. Whatever happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. It gets attention all over the world. So this was an attempt to get attention by Satanists and by people who belong to Satanic Temple and by people who believe in Satan over God. And look at the attention it's gotten from Allyn Root, who got the #1 story at the Gateway Pundit, and it's being passed around all over the United States. All right, my guest is here, Ben Bergquam. He's the host of Law and Border on Real America's Voice TV. He's the founder of FrontlineAmerica.com, and he's a good friend of Allyn Root. Ben Bergquam, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
Hey, good. Great to be with you again, Wayne.
I haven't seen you enough lately. You and I are such good friends when we see each other, but I haven't seen you in a lifetime. I'll bet it's been like a year or close to it, like 9 months since I've seen you. So I'm sorry, man. You got to get to Vegas. We got to get together and have dinner. Always enjoy seeing you.
Yeah, soon. Well, I got a border trip coming up. I'll try to skirt up and hit Vegas too on my way.
All right, good. Because my wife Cindy loves you too. So we gotta go. We gotta take you to dinner. We gotta take you to Piero's, my favorite restaurant. We have a lot of fun there. All right. So you were just in Broward County, Florida, and captured an incredible moment on camera. And I talked about this on my show yesterday. And then I saw it was your name involved. And I told Andrew, my EP, my executive producer, I said, Andrew, we got to get Ben on because this is one hell of a story. An illegal alien crashed his car, and right by the scene where police were arresting another illegal alien driver. Describe what happened and then tell us what it means, because I know what I think it means. On yesterday's show, I said it means like 1 out of every cars must be an illegal alien in most big cities. They're everywhere. Things like that just don't happen as a coincidence. 1 in a million, 1 in a billion.
That's right.
That was because there's illegals in every other car, for God's sakes. We're inundated by them. Go ahead, tell me your side of the story.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, this is anecdotal, but we were out on a 287G operation for 3 days. The first day we were out, the video you're talking about was on the second day. The first day we were out, the first 6 vehicles we stopped. Now, these are being stopped by Florida Highway Patrol. They are leading the operation in conjunction with ICE. So what happens is on these 287G operations, the law enforcement, they go out and do their routine traffic stops. Somebody doesn't use their blinker, they change lanes, they're speeding, driving without a seatbelt, all of these things, missing too dark of tints, whatever it is, they pull them over. And then in that course of the investigation, if they figure out that they may be here illegally, then they bring ICE to get involved with it. In the first 6 stops we made on the first day, this is just law enforcement. It's not targeted. It's simply stopping people for driving bad. The first 6 stops, 5 of the vehicles had illegals in them.
Oh, my God.
5 of the vehicles. So to give you an idea, and I've done this all over the country, the numbers are staggering. It wouldn't shock me at all if we're somewhere between 60 and 100 million illegals in this country, but we really just don't know. But the bottom line is they're all over our country. And the video you saw, same thing. We had pulled 1 vehicle over, found out that driver was illegal. In the course of doing the investigation, as we were about to arrest him, another illegal hits the back of another car. He rear ends a car, causing a chain reaction. Another truck rear ends him. We do the investigation. He's illegal as well, driving without a license, driving without insurance. He'd been arrested multiple times for driving without a license. Thank God this time, though, we had ICE on the scene to pick him up. Now he's in ICE custody. But think about this, Wayne. This is in Florida. This is a non-sanctuary state. This is a state that works with ICE, that allows their law enforcement. Their sheriffs are out there with us as well. They allow them to work together. And you can see it works. But it is the problem, the magnitude of the problem is so massive that it's gonna take 1,000 years of this to deal with this problem. And then you compare that to states like Illinois and California and New York, who are obstructing ICE from doing their job, where illegals are running to. The problem is so great. And you're right, it was one instance, but I've seen it in other locations. We've had other stops where we stopped one guy. One guy tried to jump the median to get around us. Law enforcement stopped him. He was illegal as well. 2 cars back, there was another illegal. We had 1 stop where there were 3 illegals in 1 stop. It's like this all over the country, and the sanctuary jurisdictions are even worse.
Right. My gut instincts on this show have been as good as anyone, I think, in the history of the media. I mean, I've been right about everything I ever predict. And I'm telling you, I kept telling people my gut was when all the experts kept saying there were 12 million illegals in the United States. We're talking about, 20 years ago. And I kept saying, no, there aren't 12. There's more like 20 to 30 million, somewhere in that range. The 12 is ridiculous undercount. And then Biden, they claim he brought in 6 to 10 million. No, he brought in 20 to 30 million, somewhere in that range. Again, nobody knows exactly. But if you take the 20 to 30 million range, and let's say 25 million, and you take what I predicted before, that we already had 30, that's 55 million illegals, and it could be as high as 60 million in the United States. And then your number, you said, could be 100 million. Well, add in the legal immigrants that have come in the last 30 years, and then you probably get up to 75 to 100 million of immigrants total. And I like legal immigrants, but still, these are all people that were not born in the United States. There's only 300 odd million people in America. What is it, 330 million, 340 million? So one out of every 3 people is come here, born in another country, and come here in the last 30 years. Those numbers are insane. No other country in the world's been invaded like this.
No, and they're unsustainable. This is clearly an invasion. This is a recolonization, a global colonization of America, and it's being directed by the leftists. It's all part of the global reset, the Great Reset, World Economic Forum. This is the new way to redistribute wealth to other countries, to foreign nations, to third world countries. They realize instead of us just having to pay these countries, we can just have them invade, and then they get all of the benefits along with it. That is what's happening, and it's intentional.
And it's also a new way to capture America. In other words, Mexico doesn't have to fight a war with America and win and take over America. They just send the whole Mexico to America, and they all go on welfare, and they've taken over a whole country. And that's what's happening. It's truly amazing. Look, I said for years that my college classmate, who was never there, by the way, I don't believe for a second he actually was at Columbia, but he graduated on the same day as I did. Columbia said Barack Hussein Obama was my college classmate. He graduated on the same day, theoretically. Our names are close to each other, O, Obama, R, Root. We were right next to each other in the yearbook, right next to each other on the graduation day. It says, O, Obama, there's one other guy, and then Allyn Root. So I've always said he learned something, whether he was at Columbia or not. The thing that everyone knew at that point was Cloward Pivot. And Cloward Pivot had a plan to destroy America and make it a socialist nation. And their plan was you overwhelm the system by getting everyone on welfare and food stamps and disability and 1,000 other government programs. And pretty soon the country goes under, the economy collapses, and you've got a socialist nation. When everyone begs the government to save them, big government takes over. Well, I've said for years now, Ben, I've said that Obama updated this plan. And he said, we're never going to get everyone in America on welfare, but we can open the borders and bring everyone in the world who wants welfare in. And that's exactly what's happened. That's the plan. And they're all here and they're all on welfare. So I'm sick of people saying only deport the criminals. You got to deport everyone who's ever been, all of them, but especially criminals and anyone's on welfare. That's all of them. That's it right there. That is all of them. They're all on welfare. Even the nice ones who are mowing your lawn right now, and you think, well, they work hard for a living. They all figured out how to what's the word I'm looking for? Jig the system, They all know while they're mowing lawns, they're getting food stamps, they're getting earned income tax credits, they're getting free housing allowances. They're all on the dole. I don't care how nice you think they are. The Democrat Party has taught them all to take welfare. Don't you think pretty much 100% of illegals get some sort of welfare in this country?
Yes, absolutely. If it's not them directly, it's the kids that they have that they brought in
family
as the anchors. But and another thing to consider on that, we've arrested hundreds that I've been a part of, hundreds of illegals that were doing these farm labor jobs, that were doing construction jobs, that were doing, in one case on this operation, painters. Almost all of them have a criminal record in America. There's a reason why they're doing those jobs. They say they're doing jobs Americans won't do. The reality is they're doing jobs for slave wages because they can't get jobs in other sectors. And oftentimes because they have criminal records. Those are the people that you're inviting into your house if you don't hire an American contractor or an American employee to come in. That's what we're up against. And you're right. They're gaming the system in every way possible. They're being coached on how to do it by the same organizations that are profiting off the invasion when people like Joe Biden are in office.
And let me tell you a little secret, too. I could tell you this is going on. The police have been infiltrated. I'm talking about the leadership, not the average cop, but the leadership. So many police chiefs and their underlings in this country that run their police departments are going along with not announcing that the person they arrested is illegal. So when they ask you, are you white, are you black, are you legal, are you illegal, the only thing, they have forms now, and they count everybody as white who isn't black. So
That's
if you're
right.
an illegal alien or you're Latino, they count you as white. That's why you don't realize how many illegals are in the criminal system and how many illegals have criminal records, because they were counted as whites, and no one realizes how many Latino criminals are out there and how many other forms of illegals from other countries are out there. Ben, can we grab you for one more segment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't go away. We'll be right back. Ben Workwam, FrontlineAmerica.com, his show on Real America's Voice, Law and Border. My buddy, Ben, we'll be right back. All right, Wayne Allyn Root, a bit of sad news to report to you. I mean, very sad news. Kyle Busch, a NASCAR legend, a Las Vegas NASCAR legend, Vegas boy, dead at 41 years old. He had to cancel his appearance at a major NASCAR race this weekend because he was hospitalized with a mystery severe illness that was just reported this morning that he was not going to be at the race. He was in the hospital with severe illness. No one knows what it was. No one had any idea. 760 races during a storied 24-year career. Wife, 2 children. His 2 sons, 11 and 4 years old. No father. Wow. Can you imagine being born into this world? Your dad is a NASCAR legend. How lucky you are. 4 years ago, and 4 years later, you're 4 years old, your daddy's gone. You'll never see him again. Wow. That is a heartbreaker. That is a stunner. Kyle Busch dead at 41 years old. I wonder what happened. Wow. All right. Let me get to the sponsor. It's funny because, we have each segment planned with the sponsor. It's not like I bring it up at the last second or I pick it out of a list of 20 and I just grabbed it by mistake. Energized Health was the sponsor of this segment. I didn't know we were going to be talking about a famous legend who died from a mystery illness, but I mean, health is wealth. Health is everything in life, everything. I'll be very brief on this one. It changed my life. There I was 15 years ago, 50 years old, and here I am today, 15 years later, 65 years old in the gym. And I'm telling you, it changed my life. I look younger now than 15 years ago. It reversed aged me. It's been my fountain of youth and a fountain of health. Energized Health, just go to their website, energizedhealth.com. Energizedhealth.com, just say WAR. When you speak to them, Wayne Allyn Root, and you get 40% off, and you go on the same journey as me, energizedhealth.com, and the promo code that unlocks the savings is WAR for Wayne Allyn Root. You got to get healthy because, God, you can't do this to your children growing up without a daddy. All right, we're back with Ben Berkwam. I wanted to grab him for a few more questions. Ben is the host of Law and Border on Real America's Voice, founder of Frontline America. A real stunner, Kyle Busch, huh? I'm a NASCAR fan. That is stunning and tragic and sad. What the hell happened? Wow.
Yeah, no, sad news. He was, NASCAR in general, they're patriots. They love this country. Kyle was one of those guys that just loved America. So, yeah,
yes,
great for his family.
Good point. All of them are big raving Trump MAGA guys, and and a Vegas guy too. He's a local. All right. So here's my question. When you came across all these illegals in these car accidents, the specific one we're talking about in Florida, one guy's been in an accident, he's illegal. A new guy comes along, has an accident, he's illegal. First of all, were they taken into custody? And second of all, did they cooperate with the police? Were they nice? Were they vicious? Did they try and hurt somebody? What was the reaction? What happened exactly?
Well, in this case, the one you saw right there, they were cooperative. I think it kind of surprised him that he got arrested. He had been arrested multiple times before that. I think it was surprised him that he got put into ICE custody. He'd been arrested, as you mentioned, even in Florida, some of these counties and some of the cities and municipalities, even though they're not a sanctuary jurisdiction, try to not inform ICE. So if ICE doesn't know they're in their custody, then ICE doesn't know to go pick them up. In this case, both the guys were picked up, they were taken in, but all day long, it was vehicle after vehicle, bailouts. These guys are jumping out of the cars. They're running into the streets. They're running into the forest. It's nonstop. So it's a mixed bag. But on this operation, this 3-day operation, I'd say about 25% of them tried to flee in some manner or another, or tried to obstruct the law enforcement doing their job. But in every case I was a part of, we caught all but one. One guy escaped, and one of the runners escaped. But out of the 20 plus stops we made and arrests we made, all but one got we apprehended.
I saw the latest news was out today, Ben, that so far Trump has gotten rid of 3 million illegals or so, somewhere in that vicinity, and that's or maybe it's 4 million illegals, because he's deported 900,000, close to a million, and then I think it said 3 million have left voluntarily. They've collected the money that Trump offered them and the free plane flight, and they've left the country. So I guess it's 3 million of self-deported, and just under 1 million have been deported. So that's a total of 4. But at that rate, we're just never going to get rid of them by the time Trump's gone. And if God forbid we get a Democrat after that, you're not going to get rid of any more.
And can keep this in mind, most of those self-deportations where they use the CBP Home app, Biden had the CBP One app inviting illegals in. President Trump started the CBP Home app to send them back. Every time we did a surge, ICE did a surge in a major city in America, the number of CBP Home applications to go back to self-repatriate skyrocketed. That's why the left targeted the surge operation so hard. And it's sad because they've done a fairly effective job at keeping them out now of places like Minneapolis and Chicago. Now, the ICE operations are continuing there, but the majority of those CBP Home recipients that decided, hey, I've had enough, I just want to go back. And by the way, if you do that, you have an option to then apply to come back legally. If you don't do that and you get deported, you can never come back again. So this is one of those things that some people took advantage of that. But everything the left is doing is trying to prevent that, to keep all of the illegals here. To answer your question, yes, this is going to take decades to fix the problem that we're in right now.
Stall. That's what they do all the time. That's what Iran is doing. I think Democrats are in cahoots with Iran. They're telling them, stall. Trump has midterms coming up. Stall. These people are traitors to our country, Ben. We got to run. Where are you going next, by the way? Where's your next stop?
I'll be actually, I'm heading to Dallas for the Memorial Day celebration, and then I'll be back on the road with Border Patrol, doing a Border Patrol operation for about a week.
All right, we got to run. Ben Bergquam, founder of FrontlineAmerica.com, TV show Law and Border on Real America's Voice TV on my network. Thank you, Ben. God bless you. All right, Wayne Allyn Root with Dan Montano, the CEO of Zecha Genesis Medicine. I've been telling you about Zecha Genesis Medicine and its medicines to reverse type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, and the number one cause of death in the world, small vessel heart disease. This form of heart disease is responsible for 1/3 of all the deaths in the world. So it could be 1/3 of all the people watching right now. Joining us now, the CEO of Zecha Genesis Medicine, Dan Montano. Dan, let's get an update on the success your medicine is having on these diseases. Let's start with type 2 diabetes. What's the latest?
Wayne, very simple. We've dosed about 50 people now in Las Vegas. 95% have reversed their diabetes within a few weeks. Only 2 have not made it so far, but they were so high it didn't count. It's coming along excellent. I think we'll end the study by the end of March, April, and be able to announce the outcome, which I think is going to show 95% success in reversing type 2 diabetes.
Wow. What's the update with Parkinson's disease?
We've now treated over 250 Parkinson's disease patients, including some very big names you'll be hearing about soon, I hope. And the recovery and the improvement is material. They're walking, they're talking, and they've almost got themselves back to normal.
All right, so we're going to have celebrity announcements. I love that. You're treating celebrities. What's new with your treatment of heart disease?
We are now starting to treat people in the Bahamas where we're cleared. In fact, we'll be attending the Caribbean Cardiovascular Conference in July. We expect 300 to 400 doctors to hear about what our medicine does, and hopefully they'll start referring patients to us to treat there. So everything is coming together. Those 3 items are working perfect.
There's an investment opportunity for my fans. What's the latest on that?
Well, right now, the medical research studies that we're doing, we return the investors 10 times on their money. And if they're not happy in 48 months, we'll buy them back at 2 times. But I think they'll probably have the 10 times by the time the 4 years is up, because we're just having a tremendous response on all 3 categories.
Well, the updates are exciting. They are spectacular. They are wonderful, and they are music to my ears. If you're interested in learning more about this investment opportunity, go to cure-war.com. They created that website just for me. Cure-war. Wouldn't it be great to make money and help cure disease? And if you or someone you love is suffering from type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, or heart disease. Go to cure-war.com and register to be considered for their free medical research studies. Free. That's cure-war.com. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Wayne.
Hi, this is Wayne Allyn Root from my great friend. Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn Root from Vertical Research Advisory, VRA. Kip Herridge's one-of-a-kind global investment and economic newsletter. Listen up! Trump is in charge. The glory days are here.
Growth rates are only going to grow from here.
This is your 4-year window to make a fortune and set up your retirement for the rest of your life. Kip wins whether the markets are up or down, whether the economy is up or down.
We set our folks up for long-term success.
For 21 years, Kip's been a friend, as well as my personal financial advisor. During that time, he's beaten the markets 86% of the time, while the average Wall Street money manager loses the market 90% of the time. Now Kip is predicting a new golden age for the economy. Let Kip prove it to you for free. Kip's offering his daily VRA investment letter completely free for 2 weeks. Free for 2 weeks. Try it for 2 weeks. I know you'll stay for life. Join now at VRAinsider.com. All right. Wayne Allyn Root, welcome back. Coming to you from Las Vegas, my adopted hometown the last 24 years. The main title sponsor of this show is Zicha Genesis Medicine. I've been telling you about their medicines to reverse type 2 diabetes, reverse Parkinson's disease, and reverse the number one cause of death in the world, small vessel heart disease. This form of heart disease is responsible for 1/3 of the deaths in the world. Now they have a treatment for it, and they have human data to show it's safe and it works. To get this medicine to market, they're seeking investors to fund more medical research studies. Zicha is offering investors a royalty of 50% of cash received until they reach 10 times their investment. And after 48 months, for any investors not happy, Zicha will pay them back 2 times their initial investment. If you're interested in learning more about this investment opportunity, go to cure-war.com. That's cure-war.com. They created a website just for my fans, cure-war.com. Wouldn't it be great to make money and help cure disease at the same time? Go to cure-war.com. All right, my guest is a regular guest. It's great to have her back. Brigitte Gabriel, National Security Analyst, Chairman of .org, actforamerica.org, O-R-G, best-selling author. Her latest bestseller is Rise. Brigitte Gabriel, we all rise for you. How are you?
Thank you. I'm delighted to be back with you, my friend.
So I tweeted out last night, and I got a great reaction to it. Are Democrats working with Iran to defeat Trump? Are they rooting for Iran? Are they giving state secrets to Iran? Are they, coordinating with Iran to stall the war so that it leaks into the midterms and Trump loses? Keep the gas prices high, keep people angry. Democrats would do anything to win the midterms. I would guess many of them, if not all of them, are rooting for Iran. What do you think about that?
Of course they are. I mean, look, it started with Obama. They believe that Iran is an underdog in this fight. They actually believe that Trump is the aggressor. And so, of course, they are rooting for the Iranians. They are against America, and they are working and rooting for our enemy to win over America because they need to defeat the America that they hate, and that's our America, the America of yours and mine, the America of Donald Trump, the America of the people who want to make America great again. President Obama, when he was president, was sending them pallets of cash to prop them up and support them because he was gullible enough to actually believe that they're developing nuclear power for energy independence. And so here we are. The Democratic Party will sell America down the drain and literally hand us to our enemies in order to take back the country and transform it the way they want America to be.
I can think of some people that would, you might argue, and I don't mean you, Brigitte, but I mean the person at home who might be moderate or liberal. They might argue, well, not all Democrats are like that. Okay, maybe not. I would argue with you. I could argue pretty vociferously with you that all of them are like that in the leadership in Washington, D.C. But let's think of a few who absolutely are like that. Ilhan Omar would give secrets to Iran in a second. Rashida Tlaib would give secrets to Iran in a second. I believe Obama would give secrets to Iran in a second. Valerie Jarrett born in Iran would give secrets to Iran in a second, and AOC and Bernie Sanders and the squad would give secrets to Iran in a second. These are all rat-fink traitors, in my opinion.
Yes, they are. And I can also add the few people that we already convicted who worked at the FBI as well as the Pentagon who were passing secrets to Iran. So there is a track record here of how the Islamists and the Democrats are working together with our enemies against our own government. And this has been done for over a decade now. And this is directly with the Iranians. I mean, it's been done for longer than that. But I'm talking about directly in recent history with the Iranians, where they actually gave our secrets away. And this is a problem. But what do you expect from a party that believes that our enemy is oppressed and that we are the aggressor and that America would be better off if Iran had nuclear weapons as long as Trump is out of office, even if that jeopardized the lives of Americans? They are willing to sacrifice the lives of few Americans in order to get rid of Trump. The Democrats will stop at nothing. They will endanger our lives in order to save their purpose and their end goal, and we are nothing but collateral damage. And that's why, Wayne, we have to fight. We have to stand with our president. We have to be engaged all the way to the midterm. We have to ensure that President Trump has the support in the House, in the Senate, and on every level throughout the state, electoral, whatever positions all throughout the state, in order to support his agenda for the next 2 years. We need to save the country. The Democrats are going to be out for our throats if we don't win.
Well, I agree that we need, to get the support of the Senate and the House, but I don't agree they're all there. I think we've got the House's support for the most part. We got most congressmen, most Republican congressmen, but the Republican senators are a mess. I would call them a no achievement Senate, right? They're a lazy Senate, a do nothing Senate. What have they actually done other than the big beautiful bill that Trump literally stuffed down their throat and begged them and pushed them and hounded them and threatened them? Other than that, they've accomplished zero. So it's good that he got rid of Cassidy of Louisiana. It's good that I'll bet today you might as well write off Cornyn. He's done. And there's a lot more. John Thune is no good. Mitch McConnell is no good. Lisa Murkowski is no good. Collins is no good. You can't count on any of these people to go our way with even the Save America Act, which is so basic, Brigitte. Anyone who doesn't support it is automatically, in my opinion, not a Republican. You have to be a Democrat to not support the Save America Act. And there's like a good handful, like 6 or 7, that don't support it on the Republican side in the Senate. Disgraceful.
It is disgraceful, and that's exactly, Wayne, why the American public are fed up with the Republican leadership. This is exactly why they lost trust in our elected officials, because some of these elected officials, not all, but some of these elected officials are serving themselves instead of serving the country. And, when the Democrats had control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency under Obama, they passed one major bill that transformed the nation, Obamacare. That was something that they were able to change that really had ramification, and they were really able to make significant change in the lives of Americans. Not for the good. Obviously, you and I don't agree with Obamacare, did not want Obamacare. So when you look at the Republicans, this is the second time where the Republicans under President Trump had control of the House and the Senate and the presidency all at the same time. They were not able to do anything the first term of President Trump.
Right.
And here we are the second time.
Right.
We are almost at the midterm, and for the first 2 years where they held the House, the Senate, and the presidency, they have not yet been able to pass a significant bill that will affect the nation for the good, like the SAVE Act. And that's exactly why people are fed up. They're fed up with Thune. Shame on the Republican leadership in the Senate. But I'm glad to tell you that the people are screaming. They are making their voice heard. We have a petition on actsforamerica.org, my organization, called an Act Now campaign for the SAVE Act. Almost 2 million emails and phone calls have gone to Congress. It's amazing. The country is screaming, and we need to keep the pressure. It's not a lost case yet. We need to keep the pressure on Congress, and I hope people will go to actforamerica.org and take action. Act now on the SAVE Act. We need to pass this. We need to stand with the president, whatever it takes to pass this bill before the midterm.
2 million. That's an incredible number. Thank you for all the work you're doing, Brigitte. It's really appreciated. You are a fighter.
Thank
you are a
you.
crusader. You are a hero. Thank you. Good news today, by the way. I'll throw it in case people didn't hear it. President Trump came out and endorsed Ken Paxton, who's my buddy, up against John Cornyn. And I didn't know in the first segment, I was asking the question out loud, when is the actual Texas primary? It's May 26th. We've now figured out the date, May 26th. That's coming up next week. So he endorsed Paxton right up against the primary deadline. So it's going to be fresh in everybody's mind. And I would say that Cornyn's career is dead. He's dead as a doornail. And Paxton will now go on and win big. I assume, like me, you're a Paxton fan, yes?
Yes, I am, because I like a man of principle. Now, a lot of people may not agree with his personal life. I don't even know the details about whatever he did in his personal life, but he's a great leader who has a backbone to stand up and defend the American people, to stand up for what is right for Texas, to stand up against the Islamists and the leftists. He doesn't back down. And I'm not surprised that the president endorsed him, because pretty much he is really a lot like President Trump. It doesn't matter what attacks you throw at him. It doesn't matter what names you call Paxton. Paxton has a backbone to stand up and fight. And he is willing to really face his enemies, including the Republicans, and putting them on the spot. And even saying that he would back out of the race if the Democrats would basically agree to the filibuster and pass the SAFE Act. And none of them took them up on it. And that's exactly why the president endorsed him today.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. His private life is a mess. That's a fact. It's a bit of a mess. But you know what? Democrats didn't care in the slightest when Bill Clinton was getting a you-know-what in the middle of the Oval Office, on the Oval Office desk. They couldn't have cared less. So what do I care about a guy's private life? Let a guy do what he wants to do in his private life, as long as he's for lower taxes and lower regulations, and he's not woke, and he doesn't believe in open borders. I don't care what you do in your private life. So Ken Paxton is
we're
like you
we're
said,
not electing Jesus. We're electing a leader who can govern.
Right.
And that's what the Republicans need to keep in mind. And this is such an important point, Wayne, because on the Republican side, we have such division between Republicans because they want the holier than thou. Every single elected candidate, they've got to be squeaky clean, holier than thou, like a monk, like Jesus. We're not electing Jesus as an apostle into the government. We are electing people who are humans, but who are going to do the right thing by the American people. That's their job, to serve the American public, and that's why we're electing them.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. There's no Jesus walking on earth. So Trump's not perfect. No one's perfect. But, we need a whole 435 congressmen like Trump and 100 senators like Trump. If we had 535 like Trump, our nation would be in great shape. Brigitte, we're going to a break. Don't go away. I'll grab you for the second half. We want to talk about Iran a little bit in the next segment, about where you think this is all going to end up. We'll be right back. More with Brigitte Gabrielle, actforamerica.org. I'm Wayne Allyn Root, rootforamerica.com. All right, Wayne Allyn Root, otherwise known as War, a.k.a. the Wayne Stream Media. No more mainstream media, right? You got to listen to the Wayne Stream Media. You get raw truth here. I don't care who I offend. If it's the truth, it's the truth. VRA is the truth. They are the best economic newsletter in the world. They've beaten with the top recommendations that Kip Herridge is the founder of VRA. And his top recommendations are called 10 Baggers. And they've beaten the market almost 90% of the time, 19 out of 22 years, not just beating the market, but often beating the market by a mile. His top recommendations were up 35.7% last year, and over the last 3 years, an average of up 38% per year. Meanwhile, Barron's reports the average Wall Street money manager loses to the market 90% of the time. Not Kip, he beats it almost 90% of the time. Facts matter. The VRA portfolio beats the market in good years and bad years. When the economy's up, he beats it. When it's down, he beats it. It doesn't matter. On the way down, he's making you money. And now, 2 weeks free, just for my fans. Go to VRAinsider.com, a website that only you know about, my fans, VRAinsider.com. Your free 2-week membership. And then you decide whether you want to stay. I predict you'll stay for life. 2 weeks free, and you'll stay for life. And when you join, it's not expensive either. It's very inexpensive. And he doesn't manage your money. You manage your money. He just tells you where to put it. And you decide what you want to do. That's it. All right, back with Brigitte Gabrielle, National Security Analyst, Chairman of ForAmerica.org, O-R-G. Best-selling author. Her latest bestseller is Rise. Brigitte, tell me about Iran, because you know that end of the world. Let's see, what I know is money, right? I know about taxes and regulations and things going on in domestic policy in America. I'm not a Middle East expert, but I've backed Trump from day one. They're the terrorist funder of the world. Can't let them get their hands on nuclear weapons. I was always behind Trump. But I got to tell you, for us to win the midterms, we got to be out of there fast. It's gone on too long. We got to be out. They know that, so they're stalling on purpose. Democrats are probably telling them, stall, and you'll win, because Trump's got to give in. He's got to get out because he'll lose the midterms otherwise. What is Trump going to do? He's kind of between a rock and a hard place.
That's what the Iranians are banking on. They are banking, if they drag this long enough, that President Trump, as we get close to the midterm, and he doesn't want to lose the election, because the Iranians know the American public has a very short attention span. Everybody's worried about $4 gallon of gas without realizing what a nuclear bomb in America would do. I mean, the least of your worry would be the gas prices. But Americans have a very short-term vision. They have very low tolerance. We are the fast-moving society. We expect everything to be like a drive-through at Starbucks. They expect the war with Iran to be just as fast or the equivalent to in speed as a drive-through to get a cup of coffee at Starbucks. It doesn't work that way. I mean, look, we went to war with Iran. We bombed them for almost 6 weeks. And then we've been 6 weeks in this peace pause, the fire pause, the whatever ceasefire that we have had.
But along with the blockade. Right.
The blockade is going to work. It is working. Do not listen to the mainstream media. The Iranians are banking that the only thing the American public is hearing right now is from the mainstream media, who hates Trump, who's telling the American public, we are losing the war. Trump is losing the war. Trump miscalculated. And they are counting on the left, and also on the only news that we hear is news coming out of Iran. So we have to take the Iranians' word that they're winning the war, and of course the left and the mainstream media who hates Trump. That's not the reality on the ground. They could be on the verge of collapse, and we know they are on the verge of collapse.
They are,
because the evidence on the ground says so, because of the bombardment. But here is the reason why I believe President Trump agreed not to resume the bombing today, Wayne, is because when the Arab allies call him to really put a pause on wait for the deal, it has nothing to do with the deal. We are in the middle of the month of Ramadan. There are millions of Muslims in Saudi Arabia right now doing the Hajj. They are flying in and out of Arab airports in the Gulf states connecting to Saudi Arabia or into Saudi Arabia. The end of the Ramadan is Tuesday, next Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day. The Saudis and the Arab states do not want Iran, if we get re-engaged now, to start bombing the airports and bombing the infrastructure and injuring the millions of Muslims coming from all over the world. They told Trump, give us another week, just wait a few days. We know you can resume. You hold all the cards. We just need a pause for another week until we finish Ramadan. I believe that's the reason why President Trump agreed to just, we'll wait a few days. What's the big deal? That's the reason. We're going to go back. We're going to go back and hit them. The deal has nothing to do with it. President Trump knows there's not going to be a deal with Iran. The Iranians are not interested in signing a deal. We're going to resume the fighting, and it's going to be a matter of days.
That is a brilliant analysis. I'm glad I asked you. See, I didn't know that. I had no idea. I'm Jewish. What do I know about Ramadan? I had no idea that Ramadan started and that they're all over there praying to Mecca and there's millions. And I had no idea. That makes such total sense. Brilliant. You are on the money. All right. Brigitte Gabriel with a great answer. Educated all of us, including me. Brigitte is the National Security Analyst and Chairman of ActForAmerica.org, ActForAmerica.org. Best-selling author. Her latest book is Rise. And we all rise with a standing ovation for Brigitte Gabriel. Thank you, Brigitte.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great day.
Always great to have you. God bless. We'll be right back. Hour number 2 with Wayne Allyn Root, rootforamerica.com. We'll be right back.
Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, what time is it? It's Knights time. If you've ever been to the Vegas Golden Knights games, that's what they always say. What time is it? It's Knights time. Also, when they sing the national anthem, when they get to the word night, the entire crowd goes, Knights! It's very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. Very cool. And they won last night, the Knights, my Vegas Golden Knights. They are in the finals, the Western Conference Finals. Very cool. I'm planning to go to a couple of those games in the next week. Be very exciting. I'm going to open up with Tina Peters because I'm going to do a little gloating. I think it's well-deserved. I don't think it's just me. I think there are a lot of conservative hosts who had something to do with this as a team. I think President Trump had a lot to do with it. But I do think that Wayne Root put tremendous pressure on the state of Colorado and the governor of Colorado and the Colorado election officials. They knew that we were on their tracks. They knew that we were threatening them with, just anything that President Trump could do to get Tina Peters out of prison, including cutting off all funding to Colorado and literally sending FBI SWAT teams and U.S. Marshals to the prison in Colorado to literally break her out as a witness in a federal crime that stolen 2020 election, put her in witness protection program. That's my opening commentary tomorrow on my TV show, America's Top 10 Countdown. I just finished the show, and it was, of course, we finished the show an hour ago, and Tina Peters being freed in the next month, that just came out minutes after I stopped taping my show. So my opening commentary of the show, which was done 2 hours ago, I opened the show with a commentary that President Trump needs to do anything and everything to get Tina Peters out of prison, which includes literally invading Colorado. And, I meant that tongue-in-cheek. I don't mean that we should send the U.S. Army to invade an American state, although they deserve it. The communist scum in Colorado deserve it for what they did to Tina Peters. They really do. But obviously, what I was trying to do was put tremendous pressure on them and put tremendous pressure on President Trump, and it worked. How do I know it worked? Number one, they're releasing Tina Peters. The headline here is Colorado governor commutes. Sentence of Tina Peters will be released on June 1st. And then here's a second one. Colorado governor cuts Tina Peters' prison sentence in half, will release her on parole on June 1st. The extraordinary decision puts Governor Polis at odds not only with fellow Democrats, but also with many Republicans in Colorado. Oh, yeah, right. Which Republicans are those? But I want to point out the CNN story quotes me. Of course, they're such scumbags, they don't quote my name. But they mention the incredible pressure from conservatives, and then they mention right here a post, Tina Peters' own account, her own account on social media reshared a post Tuesday from a radio host who urged Trump to invade Colorado if you have to and do whatever needs to be done to free Tina Peters from prison. The governor has seen the posts and what Tina Peters has continued to say, but he says that's not a reason to keep her behind bars. So my column about Trump invading Colorado, you should invade Colorado and free Tina Peters, is on the governor's mind, is on CNN's mind. And that was the whole point of what I did. That was the point. It wasn't to actually invade Colorado. Do I think we're going to invade Colorado? No. But it was to get the attention of America, to get the attention of MAGA patriots, to get the attention of conservatives and Republicans to what's going on. This poor woman's being tortured in prison. To get the attention of President Trump, I sent the column right to him. And to get him to do something, to light a fire under the governor and under the president to do something. And it obviously worked. And was it just me? No. There are so many great patriots who've been fighting for Tina Peters and talking about Tina Peters. But my columns get a lot of attention. My columns at the Gateway Pundit in particular, they send me the actual numbers for every column. So in the last 3 years, over 10 million people have read my column at the Gateway Pundit. My columns at the Gateway Pundit. 10 million people. And the one about Tina Peters, I haven't looked up, but I'm guessing if it's the same as many of my recent articles, 30, 40, 50,000 people probably read it. And the word gets back to all the liberals. Their heads explode. Wayne Root is advising the president to invade Colorado to break out Tina Peters. Wayne Root says she's going to die in prison, and we're going to hold you responsible. They are scared out of their minds. Low-life losers. Governor's scared out of his mind. You know what it mentions at the bottom of the article? After it mentions me and my column, it then mentions that he's thinking about running for president in 2028. These people don't care about anything in the world except their own success. That's it. It's the only thing the governor cares about. So now he's going to run for president, or consider running for president, because he's going to go nowhere. But he's going to consider running for president because he'd have to face off with AOC. And of course, you can't outdumb AOC, and Democrat voters are so dumb that they'll be, look, she's like me. She's a moron. I'm going to vote for her. So he's got no chance. He's the most unattractive, ugly, bald, gay man in the history of the world. So good luck for him running for president. But having said that, he thinks he can run for president. Now he's going to say, see how bipartisan I am. Even all my Democrat supporters didn't like my decision to free Tina Peters, but this shows you what a good man I am and how fair I am, and he thinks he'll get Republican votes for that. Oh, my God. These people are so delusional. What he did was save himself from a murder charge, because if she dies in prison, he should be indicted for murder. So should everyone involved in this. The DA, the Attorney General of Colorado, the Secretary of State of Colorado. They're all guilty of framing Tina Peters and turning free speech into a crime that required 9 years in prison, when they let murderers and rapists out in a day. When the whole Denver is filled with pot-smoking, low-life scumbags. Did you ever walk through Denver? The entire Denver smells like skunk. One big low-life heaven. And that's why it's such a Democrat state now, because every Democrat in America who's a lazy bum who wants to smoke pot for the rest of their lives and never work again and eat munchies while they watch cartoons has moved to Denver so they could smoke pot all day long. But they're all free, and the guy who sells fentanyl, that caught him with 26 pounds of fentanyl, the same prosecutor that put Tina Peters in prison for 9 years, let that guy out with no sentence, time served, gone. Or maybe he just, I can't even remember now. He either let him out or he literally said, no prison time. I can't even remember what the decision was, but I know he's walking the streets right now. And I know that Tina Peters, was supposed to serve 9 years in prison till the public pressure was ratcheted up. So whether it was Allyn Root, whether it was President Trump, whether it's Alex Jones, whether it's Gateway Pundit, we all got together and screamed for months and months and months, let this poor Gold Star 70-year-old mom out of prison, and it worked. Victory! God bless America. God bless Tina Peters. Nice lady. What they did to her is just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. All right, phones are already ringing. Make sure I turn the ringer off. There we go. Now nobody can bother us. So I want to mention on my show, America's Top 10 Countdown, which you can watch tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. On that show, I made a point of saying, as usual, every week I do this, that President Trump accomplishes more good things in a week than my hero Reagan did in 8 years, or any president does in 8 years. And I had quite a few good achievements to mention. I'm going to mention them right here. I'm going to open up this show. Well, Tina Peters is number one. There's achievement number one. Tina Peters is going to be freed in 1 month because of Allyn Root's pressure, and President Trump's pressure, and Steve Stern's pressure, and John Goodman's pressure, and Alex Jones' pressure, and Gateway Pundit's pressure, and who knows how many other conservative hosts said something about this all across America. Thank you. All of us as a team got her freed. But CNN quotes my article for a reason. See, I write outrageous things, just like Trump. I come from the Trump school. I wrote the book, Trump Rules, What Made Trump Successful. And I said, Trump says outrageous things, some of which are ridiculous. But it doesn't matter. It forces you to tune in, because most people tune out. They have no idea what a politician says. Most politicians are so boring. And so I force people to tune in, and I learned that from Trump. I've been following him for 45 years. He's been my mentor. And you say something outrageous, it makes people tune into the topic. They never even heard of Tina Peters, but the reason they knew it this week is because Allyn Root told President Trump to invade Colorado. Did I really mean invade Colorado? Of course not. Maybe invade it with an FBI SWAT team and a U.S. Marshals team to ask them to release them to your custody because she's a witness to a federal crime. But I didn't really mean send the army and invade Colorado. But it got everyone's attention, including the governor of Colorado and CNN. And now Tina's going to be freed. So good news for Trump. Tina Peters, number one. Number two, Trump's DHS, Department of Homeland Security, announces 12 straight months of zero border releases as crossings hit historic lows. Thank you, President Trump. We found out today, economic news, home prices register biggest annual increase in more than a year. Thank you, President Trump. U.S. industrial production surged in April. Thank you, President Trump. Jobless claims remain at historically low levels. Thank you, President Trump. All you see in the news, layoffs, layoffs, layoffs due to artificial intelligence, AI. If there's so many layoffs, why are jobless claims at historically low levels? I guess there aren't that many people actually laid off. They're laying people up and they immediately get another job. And Trump calls for a gas tax suspension. And I don't know what's going to happen, but he's trying his best to get prices down for the average, wonderful, middle class and working class American. Thank you, President Trump. Another great week. I didn't even mention China. We'll be right back. John Jubilee is with us, owner and founder of Energized Health, energizedhealth.com. Hey, John Jubilee, what's going on?
Hey, Mighty Wayne, Allyn Root. Great to see you, brother.
All right, we got a quick video to play, and then we'll get to our conversation with John. So play the video.
I am tickled to death. I feel better than I have in years. I went from being on Ozempic for 13 years. I didn't realize how much strength I'd lost and how much it was affecting my life. I'd been in the hospital from pancreatitis caused by Ozempic. My digestive system's working properly again. I used to carry around Rolaids all the time. I can't believe I'm getting my life back after being subjected to that stuff for that many years. I'm off of it. I can't be happier. That was my biggest goal. You told me that you could help me, and you have.
All right. Johnny Jubilee, you've done a great job for all my fans. And the big issue now is so many people think they found this miracle drugs, or drugs, plural, because it's this entire range of GLP-1s, Ozempic, Mounjaro, many others. They become very popular. Why do you think they're popular? I think it's because it's like fast food, right? Nobody wants to put in any effort at all. They want to pop a pill, and they want to magically be thin. It doesn't work like that.
No, you're totally right, Wayne, and it really is. It is an actual epidemic. It is epidemic proportions. So listen to these numbers, Wayne. There's over 40 million Americans on it today. Another 30 million anticipated to get on in this next 12 months.
Wow.
So I love it, Wayne, that, as only you are a crusader of truth. You're a crusader of truth. And so I believe, Wayne, this show that we're going to talk about today will be something people can go back and say, I remember where I was on April 6th, 2026, on the Wayne Allyn Root Show. John and Wayne talked about this issue. And 24 months from now, Wayne, there'll be 70 million people shaking their head saying, I wish I would have listened, to what those guys say. And here's what I want to say about it, guys, is look, will you lose weight on Ozempic? Absolutely, you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose water, you're going to lose muscle, and you're going to lose some fat and some bone. Yes, you're going to lose bone density. So this is real science. This is not my opinion. This is not Wayne's opinion. The scientific studies are already out. Ozempic has been around for decades. You just heard a gentleman, he's been on it for 13 years. By the way, he got fat. He gained 40 pounds of fat on Ozempic because it only works, guys, for the first year. And then you start gaining back all your fat, but you never gain back your water, and you never gain back your muscle, and you never gain back your bone. You are permanently harmed from doing these drugs. Even Oprah, Wayne, said it. She said, I did it for a year, and then I worked out and I ate the protein. I did everything they said to do, she said, and I still gained back all my fat. So it is not a long-term solution, guys. It is absolutely something that is super short-term. But Wayne, can I just say a gracious statement to everybody? Because listen, there may be hundreds of thousands of people watching us today. You're already on it. Listen, if you're on it, then guess what? You better give yourself a safety net. You better give yourself a safety net. And the perfect safety net is the Energized Health Protocol. Because why? Because we help you gain your hydration. Ozempic guarantees you're going to lose hydration. We guarantee you're going to gain it. They guarantee you're going to lose your muscle. We guarantee you're going to gain it. So you might as well protect yourself from the 2 guaranteed side effects, by the way. Now what they don't guarantee, Wayne, but they do warn people, like you just heard this gentleman, Robert, share, he did get the pancreatitis. You know, you can get permanent blindness. You can get digestive disorders. Your stomach could be paralyzed forever. So there's a lot of other negative side effects that could come. But the 2 that are guaranteed, Energized Health, could come hand in hand. If you already are on the Ozempic and you're in your 1-year term of it, guys, give yourself a safety net to gain your healthy hydration, gain your muscle, and possibly offset your pancreatitis. You saw a client just now. He reversed his pancreatitis that Ozempic gave him. He reversed his digestive issues that he had to have the antacids all the time. So at least give yourself a safety net if you're one of those people who have chosen, I'm going to take the Ozempic, I'm going to take, listen, we have grace for you guys. And obviously that guy joined Energized Health on Ozempic. He was already on it when he joined. But somebody must have told him, even if you're on Ozempic, these guys can help you better. And Wayne, we could share the other part of the testimony maybe next time we're on. He lost about 40 pounds of fat on Energized Health, not on Ozempic. 13 years he couldn't lose it, but then he lost 40 pounds of fat and gained his muscle on Energized Health. But he did it while on Ozempic, guys, and then got off of it.
You know, I've always thought, John, that people that do too much aerobic exercise, like marathon runners, just look too skinny. It's not attractive for a man, as an example, to be super skinny. You have to do a little weightlifting, too. Muscle is just as important as aerobic. And as a matter of fact, I've seen study after study that shows that weightlifting actually helps you lose weight even more than aerobic activity in some cases. So I can't imagine what a person's life is like who has lost a large portion of their muscle density. They must look horrible with no clothes on. You know, maybe they look skinny with clothes compared to the way they used to be obese, but when you take the clothes off, they must look and feel awful, and it can't be good for you in life to be losing muscle. What does that do to you?
Yeah, well, Wayne, again, I can't even make this stuff up, but look, we have the internet. You guys could go look these up on Instagram or Facebook. 2 phrases, Ozempic face and Ozempic butt. And again, remember, I want to quickly say, you know, I am sharing with you, I'm holding out my hand of saying, hey, join us like Robert did. If you're on Ozempic or you're thinking of going on it, come and join us. We will love to help you to not have the negative side effect, including Ozempic face, which is where your face ends up looking basically like a Halloween skull, or Ozempic butt, where it looks just like, you know, 8 saggy butt things hanging there. You can see these pictures on the internet, Wayne. They're horrifying and mortifying to think that people look good in their clothes, but like you said, they take their clothes off and now they're just like this saggy, you know, sack of skin. They're just a saggy. Yeah, there you go.
Right? They look like skeletons. Scary. And I mean, I got to tell you guys, I'm not bragging because it's not me. I don't take the credit. It's John. I got on the Energized Health program and I look as good now as I looked since I'm in my 40s. I look much better than when I was 50 years old, which was 1 year before I was 49. And I look much better. And when I take my clothes off, I look like a football player. And that's from Energized Health. I gained muscle and I lost fat. I look great. These people look like skeletons. So I would say don't go on the Ozempic, don't go on the GLP-1s. But if you are on the GLP-1s, how does your Energized Health program help people who are on the GLP-1s, on the Ozempics, the Mounjaros? What does it do to you while you're on those things that are killing your muscle?
Well, Wayne, again, this client that you guys just saw, you heard him say it, 13 years he's on Ozempic. And again, we'll share it for you to hear. And in fact, if you guys call in, just ask for his video. It's about a 6 or 7 minute video. We'll send you the whole thing. And you can hear it out of his mouth. But while on Ozempic, he gained fat. But on Energized Health, he lost almost 40 pounds of fat and gained about 15 pounds of healthy, lean muscle and hydration while he was on Ozempic. So if you're on Ozempic, if you're thinking of going on it, listen, you can have what he had because we're transforming that body at the cellular level. And again, Wayne, I have nothing better to say to somebody than, look, here's a guy that was on it for 13 years, and he's still got the positive effect of an Energized Health protocol to gain his hydration, to gain his muscle. And I have to quickly say, Wayne, you are 100% right. 1 inch of muscle will eat more fat. 1 inch of lean muscle that you gain will eat more fat in 1 year than running guys for 5 miles a day. That's the power of 1 inch of lean muscle.
I'm the living proof. I'm Exhibit A for Energized Health. Changed my life, extended my career, and made me a lot of money by getting me a lot of new TV shows and podcasts at a very advanced age for TV biz. Go to EnergizedHealth.com. Say war for Wayne Allyn Root and get 40% off. Do it now. EnergizedHealth.com. All right, Wayne Allyn Root, I am joined by Gordon Bond. What an honor. Owner of Bond Arms, one of the great gun manufacturers, all made in the USA, all made in Texas. His website is getbondarms.com. Gordon, what makes Bond Arms different from any other gun manufacturer?
Well, when my brother started the company a long time ago, the regular Derringer, let me see if I can get it in the picture here, was basically known as a cheap, dangerous throwaway gun. This is a 1865 model. Derringers have been around forever. And what he did was take a dangerous gun and just made it very cool by better materials, trigger guard, interchangeable barrels, solid stainless steel. And Wayne, like you saw at the show, people love picking them up and just holding them. And it's just like, they pick it up and it's like, wow, this is like a real gun.
That's great. I saw it. My wife and I were at the show, and she's a gun aficionado even more than I am. And she said it was the best booth at the entire gun show. Out of thousands of booths was Gordon's booth, Bond Arms. To celebrate America's 250th anniversary, Bond Arms is releasing the American 250 edition handgun at a special price only for my fans. Tell us about it.
So one thing that we wanted to do, when I graduated in 1976, it was the bicentennial, and that's all they talked about all year long. And so when this 250th anniversary was coming up, we really wanted to do something special on this. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is the stainless steel version. It's 45 long Colt and 410 shotgun shell, very well built. I mean, our guns are built like a tank. People love the quality. They call it a hand cannon, best snake gun you've ever had. There's a beautiful side with the flag and the Liberty. And people just love the way that we do things. I mean, they'll come to our booth every year and just go, wow, what are y'all doing this year? You know, what crazy thing are you doing this year? So the American 250, we're really going to focus on that. We want to give everybody the opportunity to own a piece of history.
Gun. What a beautiful gun. What a gorgeous gun. The engravings. Wow. And I love that name, hand cannon. I want a hand cannon. Mine got delivered today. I'll have them for next week's show. My own personal hand cannon from Bond Arms. How do you get it? Go to getbondarms.com. See the number on the screen, getbondarms.com, or call 817-573-4445. See the disclaimer on the bottom of the screen for certain restrictions. Getbondarms.com. Gordon, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn Root from Vertical Research Advisory, VRA, Kip Herridge's one-of-a-kind global investment and economic newsletter. Listen up. Trump is in charge. The glory days are here.
Growth rates are only going to grow from here.
This is your 4-year window to make a fortune and set up your retirement for the rest of your life. Kip wins whether the markets are up or down, whether the economy is up or down.
We set our folks up for long-term success.
For 21 years, Kip's been a friend. as well as my personal financial advisor. During that time, he's beaten the markets 86% of the time, while the average Wall Street money manager loses the market 90% of the time. Now Kip is predicting a new golden age for the economy. Let Kip prove it to you for free. Kip's offering his daily VRA investment letter completely free for 2 weeks. Free for 2 weeks. Try it for 2 weeks. I know you'll stay for life. Join now at VRAinsider.com. Hi, I'm Allyn Root, CEO, conservative TV and radio host, and best-selling author. I believe in America and American exceptionalism. America is now focused on energy independence. Enter Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery. The first 4,000 feet drilled so far are estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, making it one of the largest natural gas discoveries in the Rocky Mountain region in the last 30 years. This is how we power the AI future of America with clean natural gas. Headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose previous public companies, Pinnacle Energy and Ultra Petroleum, delivered spectacular returns for investors. At its peak, a $10,000 investment in Ultra Petroleum turned into over $13 million. To learn more about this Lost Soldier oil and gas opportunity, go to lostsoldier.com. Fill out the contact form. That's lostsoldier.com.